Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and today is Casing Tuesday. And that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. We have a Facebook group that you can join. And if you're looking for any links or supplies that I'm using today, just look down below in the description of the video. You might need to, depending on what device you're using, just kind of dig down below and click on little things, and hopefully eventually you'll find that area where it says description. On a laptop, it says like see more, and it will open up and it will give you all of my links, and later on I'll be talking about Stampin Blends, and I have charts for that. So just look down below and you'll find probably everything you need. But if you don't, then just give me, fill out my contact form and I will get back to you. So before we begin, we'll see if some more people pop on here this morning. So it's a really rainy day here. I don't know where you're at today, but we've had a really wet summer. I can look out my window right now and I see we've got like some mushrooms growing in the backyard. We've got a lot of moss. It's like, I feel like I'm inside a terrarium basically, because there's like just so much green. But it's just a wet day. And today we were supposed to, hello, Mary. Today we were supposed to have a flooring guy come to fix a patch of flooring in our family room where we took out our chimney. And there used to be slate on the floor, and there's just this section. But because it's a small job, they keep putting me off. So we have painting being put off and flooring being put off, and so we're just kind of like getting little jobs done on the house. And I feel like it's my second full-time job because I have to chase after people. Just little things, and if you've moved recently, you'll know what I mean. It's for me, it's like the house stuff, plus it's like address changes and all of that. And the thing is, nowadays things should be pretty easy, right? Have you ever tried to change an address or change some information on a file? Well, this morning I wanted to change my address because I got a letter that was forwarded from my health insurance provider. And so I was like, let me just go in this. Let me log in. I know the login information. Let me log in and get that. Well, guess what? You're not allowed to change your address with your health insurance provider online. They will not let you. It says your employer, which is really my husband's employer, will not let me do that. So I had to call the number, but of course they weren't open yet, so I had to wait. And then I called, and then I had to wait for a call back, and they still haven't called me back. And I just, like, it's just the string of things that should be really easy. That maybe like at some point, back in the day before we had all this computer stuff, you just had one way to change an address, which was calling the company or whatever. And now you think you can do things online, and you can't, but then you have to call the call center, but the call centers only deal with a ton of problems nowadays. So you have to wait. So everything feels like you're walking through waist-high water, and you're like moving really slowly. And I'm just like, this should have taken me like maximum 5 minutes because I knew my login information. But that's the things that the other part of my life right now that's slowing down all the stamping things I used to do. So I feel, I feel sometimes a little bit inadequate, but I'm going to give myself grace and just work through things one at a time. All right, I have some more people on here. Good morning, Janine. Good morning, Ellie. So let's take a look at today's card. I've talked enough about myself. Tell me how you guys are. I'll get to you at the end in the comments. Leave me a comment. Let me know what the weather's like. Do you have pouring rain? Are you having a good day? I hope you are. So let's take a look at this card while I'll respond to that, and I'll talk to you at the end. Let's see. This is today's card, and this was one of my picks, I'm pretty sure. Because I like it when there's things going on in the background. And look at those fun strips of paper. This card was basically made with a bunch of different scraps of paper. And I love that. It's so much fun. They look to me like 1/2-inch scraps of paper in the back, and I just love doing that. I love using up little scraps of paper. So I definitely did that background. If you look at the sketch for today, Yolanda didn't put all those strips in, but you can put them in or you can leave them out. You can have that piece be just another layer of your card, but I'm going to show you how, and she left a little note on there. Note, if using patterned paper strips, they are approximately 1/2-inch wide. She's amazing. So she's detail oriented. So I love that she left a little note. Yeah, and I'll just show you how you do that. It's not too hard. But I love this card, and I love that bundle, but I don't have it yet. I think it's called Hey Chuck bundle. It matches previous bundles that we had, that like Hey Birthday Chick and Hey Chick, and they are now retired, but this is a new one. I think it's called Hey Chuck. It's pretty cool. Just too many bundles to get all at once, so I haven't gotten that one yet. All right, I'm gonna switch over. You know what I should do? I should double check real quick that my excuse me, my volume. I should switch to this, and then just hold on one second. I'm doing this in the background, and I should check my sound, make sure I'm all good for sound. Every once in a while, like, things get shifted because I use my volume buttons on different devices. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think I am good now. All right, let's switch over to my other camera and let's take a look at my card. Oop, my card. It's underneath all of everything, all of my card pieces. All right, here we go. Here's my card. I have to make some birthday cards. I am really, really behind on everything. Birthday cards being one of them. So here is this birthday card I made, and I love this gorgeous gingham paper. It comes in all of these colors: pretty peacock, berry burst, lemon lime twist, blueberry bushel, and pecan pie. And so I used all the colors, 1/2-inch strips. I had a lot of small pieces. They weren't all 1/2-inch, but I cut them all to 1/2-inch. I had a lot of leftover pieces from previous projects. So I was able to cut down like some smaller pieces to make these strips. So, and you can mix and match with different designer series paper as well. So, yeah, I love this card. And this stamp part is pretty easy once you got the strips aligned. So I love that too. I'm using the Beautiful Balloons bundle. I did stamping instead of die cutting, but you could do the same thing and pop your balloon out and make it look a little bit more dimensional. I didn't do that because I spent all this time on the strips here. So last night I was just like, let me just stamp this. And you can't see this. This is one of the reasons I don't use Wink of Stella, because, well, today, there, you could see a little shine. There we go. See a little sparkle on my balloon? So I put some Wink of Stella on my balloon. And so if this is viewed by the recipient in daylight, it will have like a little shimmer and sparkle. It's hard to see it on camera because you have to get the light to hit it just the right way. You can maybe see just a little tiny bit. And then I colored these iridescent rhinestone jewels with blends. So you can make some fun jewel tone little gems by just using the Stampin' Blends. So let me show you how I made this card today. Oh, I should mention I've got lots of little pieces, but these are the dies. There's a nice little tag. There's just fun pieces. There's this piece that makes fringe, which I love that. See it makes this type of fringe. Actually, these are retired designer series papers now, but I just want to show you. Look at that fringe. Isn't that fun? It cuts that fringe, and you can put that on a card, or you can use it for a 3D thing as well. It's cool. This is the die that you need to make that. Okay, let's get started, and let's start off by making that designer series paper. So I'm starting with a piece that's 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and you're just going to grab. I've got these pieces, and they are 1/2 inch by 6 inch. The Glorious Gingham paper, which I have right here, it comes in 6 by 6, and I love this paper. I think there's 8 of each color, and one side is this gingham, and the other side is kind of a diagonal gingham. So I love this paper. I love that it's nice and neutral. You know what? Okay, there are some shorter pieces in here. I'm wondering if we should try it with the opposite pattern. Let's see. Let's see if it works with this pattern. I'm gonna lay it out just for the fun of it and see what we think. And if we don't like it, we'll flip it over. I'm gonna use the same pattern that I used before. I think I kind of like this one better. And you know why? These kind of look like little bursts, but let's take a look. I'm already just laying it out, and I'm thinking, yeah, I might prefer using the back side better. But you know, while we're experimenting, so I like to lay out my pattern first. And you can adjust your angle a little bit. Okay, what comes after green? There's the berry burst. And then after berry burst comes one of these. So for some of them, if I know I just need a little bit, I cut it like this, and then I can use the other one, the other piece up top here. I don't know. Shall we give it a try and see which one we like better? We can. I'll do that. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl and see if we like this side better or if we like that side better. So I think I'm just trying to see. I think the layout is good, and I'll need like a little bit of this down here. So let me start. I choose the middle piece, the middle strip, and I'll start by putting the glue down on my white piece. Okay, and I'll just angle. This is my anchor piece. Just make sure you get that exactly how you want it, and then all the other pieces are going to build off of that one. And then I'm just going to go in order of my strips, and I'll just put another line of glue. Here's my glue in my little pot, and I'll just go ahead. Oh, I wonder if I can line up the lines. I'm lining up the little gingham lines. See if that's cool or not. Who knows? Who knows if that will look cool? We'll see. Let's see. I have a little bit of playroom, so I can just slide it up and down. On this one, I didn't line anything up. It was just like I'm just plopping it down on there without any regard to the pattern. This is kind of fun, actually. I like to do this. Now, as I'm getting closer to here, I probably could have shifted this one down here, because sometimes you need just a little tiny piece. So, you know, you can kind of start to do this. But at the same time, I'm still lining up. You just want to make sure you have a bit of an overhang, because as we go along, we're going to cut things off. So brown, and then we're going to come back with this color here. So we'll just make sure we'll go like this. And I'm just making sure as I'm doing this that I'm kind of pushing the piece up to the next piece so that there's not a gap at all. And what color comes after this one? There's Berry Burst. So we'll see at the end, we'll fill up that Berry Burst. So now we're going to go in the opposite direction and come along here. And we'll just kind of line up. I'm still lining up my pattern. And then this one, I went really close to the edge right there. Make sure that you have enough to overhang. I'm going to shift this up a bit, because otherwise you're going to have a bald spot. And for this, I kind of want this whole thing covered. But I mean, you could theoretically like shift the edge so you had a ragged edge too. So making these strips, there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. I'm going to go up just a little bit. All right, so I have to tell you that I am excited because this Friday, our son is coming for a visit with his girlfriend for a few days, but not till the evening. So I won't be changing anything about my live on Friday. I will still be going live on Friday, but it's going to be kind of exciting to have them here. Okay, so now after Berry Burst, I want to go back to green. So since I've got this one here, this is Pretty Peacock, I'm going to just go ahead and trim this first one off the back right here so that I can use it over here. Let's see. Oh, does that line up? Okay. Let's go ahead. It's like cheating a little bit. So for this particular project, I used 10 strips of 1/2 inch paper, and I don't think I'm going to be using all of it. So after green, let's see, after green comes Berry Burst, before green comes this. So let's go ahead and trim these off real quick so that I can grab some of this brown right here. Or actually, I can just go ahead and trim this right here, and then we'll do a big trim afterwards. Okay, we're gonna piece this little piece on here. Spread it around a little bit. Onto there, and then what comes after green is some more Berry Burst. So now I'm gonna have to do some cutting. So let's go ahead and cut. We'll start on this side since I've almost done everything. Just cut along the edge. You may need to go back if you didn't do a perfect job. And then just let the white edge be your guide. And just cut. We're going to see what the gingham looks like, the smaller gingham. And these, I'm using my paper snips. These are from Stampin' Up. I really like these scissors, and I only use these ones for paper cutting. I don't use them for cutting ribbon or anything like that, so that I have a nice, always have a good blade. Okay, so I have that bald spot up at the top, so after the peacock comes berry burst. So I'm just gonna piece a little piece of berry burst up here. Ooh, that's a lot of glue. Okay, this little piece I am not gonna use, so I'm gonna use it to spread the berry burst and throw that in the garbage. And then we'll come along here and just piece this together. And now we'll flip this over, give it a quick trim. So about 10 strips you'll need for this particular one. So doesn't that look pretty? And I think I like it because I lined up all the gingham, so it does have kind of a nice flow to it. So maybe I'll like this one better in the end. Who knows? You know, you make them and then you're like, what will look better? I think I had one extra strip, but I think I may have cut 3 of the lemon lime twist. Yes, I think I did cut 3. So 10 strips will work really nicely. Okay, I need to show you these afterwards. This is my gift of the month. If you use the host code, let me push this up for a second. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. If you spend $50 with me this month, these are the is the gift of the month. They are the adhesive back star trinkets. They're not available yet. They're in the holiday catalog. I'm going to order them on September 6th. So use this host code, spend $50 with me, and you'll get these star trinkets. I think these will be beautiful for Christmas. They make nice little tree toppers. So, and they already have adhesive on them, so that's really cool. Okay, getting stuff out of the way. Let me put those over out of the way so we're not like having stuff all over my desk. All right, so I have a piece of lemon lime twist, 11 inches by 4 1/4, and I scored in half at the 5.5 inch mark. So then just fold it and smooth it flat with a bone folder. And then we're going to add this onto here. So pretty, right? What a great panel. I almost don't want to cover it up, but I will because I think the balloon also looks nice. So right there. So kind of cool either one. Let's see what it looks like once we get it stamped. All right, so I'm using the Beautiful Balloons bundle, using 3 stamps, and I'm going to start off with a lemon lime twist. Grab this. My pad is super inky, so you see those little splotchy spots. Okay, so I'm going to clean this off. Let me show you something that I do. All right, paper towel works best, but I just have a tissue here. Tissues sometimes have lint on them, and you don't want to use something that has lotion on it. This one is, I don't buy the ones with lotion on it, but that's why I'm recommending a paper towel. But what I'll do, so I'll do this, and I'll do half of my ink pad. This is super, super inky because it's a new pad. And I'll just put this on here, and I'm just going to press down on here. And what I want to do is remove a bit of the ink off of here because there's a little bit too much ink on here right now. And what that does is it causes the ink to pool up. It's still pooling up, but not as badly as before. You know what? I might come back and do this one more time. Okay. All right, let's see if that works. So when mine pooled, it actually didn't look too bad. It dried and it kind of spread out. You do want to make sure your stamp though is dry. Let me grab grab a piece of scrap paper. Let me make sure my stamp is dry, because if you have any liquid on it, like I did for my chamois, then it might also, let's see if this is any better than before. Yes, that is a little better. Okay, so also keep in mind that this is going to dry and the ink is going to not look as dark as before. So I'm just going to stamp the string down below. And we'll wait for that to dry too, because if you introduce Wink of Stella on here too soon, it tends to move around the ink a little bit. So removing a bit of the ink really helps with your image if it's too inky, especially what you'll find with the new, when you get a new ink pad, they tend to be inked up really, really well. Okay, so happy birthday. This is Blueberry Bushel ink. And then we're going to bring in, before we do Wink of Stella, we'll bring in, these are the Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And I am taking my dark, this is Pretty Peacock. And if you color on here before you move them, that's the easiest way to do it. You can do it with your bullet point, might help with not breaking down your brush tip. So Pretty Peacock dark, Berry Burst dark, and you might need to work it a little bit, and you might need to go back. So just go ahead and color on there. This reminds me of, we used to have some holiday rhinestone jewels, and they were in these gem tones. This is what this reminds me of. And this is just a regular pack of iridescent rhinestone jewels, and they color up so well. Okay, I think that's good enough. If you wanted to work them or let them dry a little bit before you transfer them to your project, that might be a good thing. I'm gonna live dangerously and kind of move them. They may be a little bit wet, so I'm trying to be careful when handling them because I don't want to remove too much of the ink. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to come in with my Wink of Stella and just brush it over top of the balloon. Now, when you get Wink of Stella for the very first time, I don't know if I still have this sitting at the top of my garbage. Maybe not. I threw, oh, yeah, I do. Here. So when you get Wink of Stella for the very first time, you'll notice it has this little black ring right here. You're going to need to unscrew this top portion right here and remove the ring, and then screw this back on. And then that will activate the ink. While this thing is on there, you will not get any ink flow. So you need to make sure you remove that. And there are instructions that come with your Wink of Stella that tell you to do that. So if you forget, look at your instructions. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Very easy to add just a little bit of sparkle. And it doesn't show up so well on camera, but it's nice to see it in person. It will look a little bit more like a balloon. And Wink of Stella was sold out for such a long time that I kept meaning to order it and I couldn't. Okay, so I'm just going to center this on here like that. All right, we have a decision to make. Well, we don't have to make the decision, but I'm gonna just kind of move everything out of the screen and maybe you can tell me which one you like better. So we've got my original one here. This is with the diagonal, I shouldn't say, both of them have diagonal strips, but this is the larger gingham and the smaller gingham. Which one do you like better? I don't know. I actually kind of like both of them. This one kind of looks like from afar, it kind of like looks like little bursts of light, right? And this one has a more uniform pattern. So this one looks maybe a little bit more sedate, and this one has a little bit more of like pop color to it. You know, this one might look better with a different image on it too. Like, so, you know, one might look better with an image. But in any case, I love the background design, and you can do that with any of your pattern paper and just make a pretty pattern. When you use the same designer series paper pack, all the scraps in the same designer series pack, they tend to coordinate together, so that makes it really easy to make a nice looking background with your little scraps. And you can see here, this was the one I stamped second, this one I stamped first. So this was like when my pad was really inky, and this one was when I removed some of the ink. So it kind of, it blended down just a little bit, and you can see the little white spots a little better. So both of them, just a little different. I maybe could have stamped the string into the darker part of the ink so that it showed up a little better. On camera, of course, things are harder to see, but yeah. So, okay, let's see what everyone says. Marty says she likes the smaller pattern, plus, now these are crooked, which probably annoys me. She likes the smaller pattern. Janine says she likes both of them. Janine says, I'd say the small check to an engineer, it's more directed to the point. Oh, you would send the small check to an engineer. I like them both, but the larger gingham really stands out. So yeah, you know what? I guess it's just personal preference, right? Whatever you like, you can play around. And you can use it with different paper. Try the back sides of the paper, you know, try the front sides, experiment. I just happen to have a lot of scraps with that paper because I was using it a lot. So it was a good paper to use. So I didn't have to use up any new sheets of the designer series paper. So I mentioned before my host code, and if you spend at least $50 with me this month, you'll get those, what are they called again? All these new products coming in all the time. Adhesive backed star trinkets, and they will be in the holiday catalog starting September 6th, but I'm using them as my reward for the month because the rewards for everyone accumulate all month, so I don't order them until the next month anyway. So I picked something out of the holiday catalog in a hopes that I could get it to you so that you would have it to use in the holidays, because I feel like people are going to think these are really cool and they might sell out later on. So I was hoping to get them all now so that I would have wanted to maybe use them later on, but then they would have been gone. So that's why I did it as an earlier gift. So, okay, so let me talk to all of you guys and see how you are doing today. So hello to Mary, Janine, and Ellie. Marty said she went to the airport early this morning, and she went back to bed. I know. I feel like going to sleep. I am so sleepy this morning just because of the weather. I woke up, but the room was darker, and it just makes you feel like going back to sleep, like the sound of the rain. It makes you, I don't know. I don't know what it is about rain that just makes you want to go lay in bed and cuddle up with a good book or something. Janine said, my insurance company is probably guarding against fraud. Very true. yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, probably. But it's just a long line of things that take super long to take more effort than one should need to do in any case. So yeah. Hello, Kathy from Michigan. Glad you're here. Ellie says it's gloomy, damp, humid. How about that for miserable? Sorry. Okay, I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at, yeah, that's kind of, it is a little gloomy, but when we laugh at it, it makes things a little better, right? I think so. She said, beautiful card. Deborah's here from Virginia Beach. Janine said, regarding the Hey Chuck bundle, I wasn't familiar with it. Every time I saw Hey Chuck in print, I thought it was a typo and that it was supposed to say Hey Chick. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because we did have Hey Chick. And then we had Hey Birthday Chick. And now we have Hey Chuck, which is really fun, right? Marty said, so cute. One of the artisan designers, Jay from the UK, did this, but he used a label die to cut the scraps. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to look that one up, Marty. That sounds like a fun card. Mary says it's cool in Ohio. It was actually kind of like room temperature, like warm outside this morning. But when I got back to my room, I just kind of felt like I needed to put on a jacket. And I don't know why. It's not particularly cold in here, but I just kind of felt like I needed like a hug, like something to kind of comfort me because of the gloom. So I put on a jacket. So weird. Okay. Marty says she can see the sparkle on the balloon, and then we go into all the talk about the patterns. Oh, Mary said she's sad because she went to make the hourglass candy box, but she has the smaller die cut machine. I wonder, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't think there's a way that you can do it with a smaller one. I was going to say you could fold over the edges, but then you would end up cutting the edges. So it's, yeah. There's just some things you can't do with the smaller die cut. I mean, there are maybe some workarounds that aren't so great. I mean, you could trace the pattern of the hourglass. This is a different project, of course. You could trace the pattern of the hourglass and then use scissors to cut out the window. Of course, it wouldn't be as smooth. So yeah, that's, I'm sorry, Mary. Maybe it's time to get the big machine. I know I hate to sell more, make you buy another product. I have both machines, but for that project, you really do need the big machine. And some of the 3D windows that we make, we need that big machine to run it through. I'm sorry. All right. Well, I hope the sunshine comes. I did see that there's supposed to be nicer weather this afternoon, and my husband and I, we curtailed our walk a little bit this morning because it was supposed to be light sprinkles, but it was apparent that the weather had not read my weather app and decided to pour rain down on us, so much so that I had to change some clothes when I got home, and my socks were wet too, even though I was wearing some hiking boots. Well, they're leaky hiking boots, but nonetheless, I got a little wet this morning, so we decided to curtail our walk and go back the shorter way. And so he said, well, this afternoon we can go for a longer walk. So I'm looking forward to that. I hate cutting my walk short, but I also don't like to get wet. I'm a little miserable when I'm wet. And so it was kind of like a toss up, do I get wet and go for a longer walk, or get wetter and go for a longer walk, or do I come back and avoid getting wet? So I decided that we would come back early, and hopefully this afternoon I will get my full walk. I'm like a dog. I need to be walked at least twice a day. Otherwise, I get very antsy. So, yeah, but I can walk myself. I don't have to have my husband there with me, but I try and include him because I want him to be healthy as well. So I've been like a super avid walker. I talk about this all the time. I've been a super avid walker for over 20 years. Like I walk several miles a day, and it is the key to me feeling good. Everything is related to that. So I absolutely love walking. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I will be going live on Friday. My son and his girlfriend, they're arriving on Friday night, and then they're going to be here. They leave again on Tuesday. So I'll see. I have to see when we have to take them to the airport. So I'll have to see if I need to move my live at all, or if I can squeeze it in before they go. But anyway, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have some sunshine later on. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.